Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Benefactor at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Kate, Felicia, Nick, Corinne, and Rodrigo with their adventures in Ilaria. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder by using your channel points in the game. Check out the options in the chat bar. You can also join us by clicking the Discord link in the channel notes, or support with what we do by becoming a subscriber. So let's rejoin the players as they play episode 103 of the Benefactor. And welcome back, and hello to our players.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Need that anymore? Let's get that out. So, you may have seen on the Discord, but I'm on lockdown for the next 10 days, which means I've got time that I can devote to putting the last touches on things like Lancer and a few other things. So we're going to use this opportunity to push forward. I know that Rodrigo is ready and raring to go. We've been trying to get extra players. It's been hard to get players at the moment. It's been a slow start to the year. But we have been joined by a fabulous guy from our role-playing community over here. Mike, he's been my DM for hell, nearly 10 years or something now. There's got to be something like that. And he actually helped write one of the books for Paranoia.
Which is why I want him.
He's serious good. Yeah, he's seriously good.
That's why I want him to be a Paranoia, because I haven't actually played the Paranoia game with him. Like the one time that we played it, we were gonna play it in guild, I was fucking sick.
Yes, that's right.
Play.
He's such a good Paranoia DM and a great player as well, and respectful.
Cool.
He's one of those guys where, even though I haven't spoken to him in a little while because he's been having a baby, he's one of those guys that I know I can absolutely trust to bring onto the stream. So so far the players for Blades in the Dark is myself, Christy, who was in on the Numenera one shot, and Mike. So it's a bit of a change of scenery, but we do have one more slot. If anybody's available, we won't just take anybody. So if you're watching this and we haven't a clue who you are, you're probably going to have to talk to us a lot to get that slot. But if not, any of our chaotics, Blades in the Dark is a wonderful system and has a lot of those little flashbacks that you get in Hustle or Leverage, depending which side of the pond you're on. So yeah, that's looking good. And yes, Corinne, at some point we will politely ask Mike if he will do some Paranoia on Chaotic Neutral. I'm sure he'd have to dust off the books because, you know, he's, as I say, been doing the family stuff for a while, but he'll take to it like a duck to water, so hopefully he'll say yes. Anyway, I think that's everything at the moment. I know that Ed is good to start Numenera soon as well, so that's going to be starting up soon. And I just need to check in with Felicia and Vic for a few things regarding the art for Lancer, and then we'll be kicking that off as well. So as I say, I've got 10 days of absolute boredom, which will make me very productive because I can't get the VPN working from work to this computer because IT stuff, companies, whatever. It's too boring to go into, so I will have time. We had some technical issues, shock horror, I know, at the end of episode 102. Which means that the end scene that we were having there, I couldn't get to a good cutoff point, so I'm actually going to go back. If you remember at the end of last session, Cora is dream hunting. So you are currently in the dream wilds, as it's considered, because for the Fae, dreams are actually a geographical location that they can move to.
Thank you, Lovecraft.
In a way. Rather than just something that's in someone's head. I've taken a little bit out of the Neil Gaiman / H.P. Lovecraft / Changeling the Lost, in that the Fae, in this case, are in the Feywild, which is also buttressed onto Arcadia, which is a D&D realm, which is between the two of them, there is this infinite and yet minuscule expanse called the Dream Wilds. And that is where you currently are. The only person who fully understands that is Cora. The rest of you guys may have heard some of the theory regarding it, but a lot of the books that explain the Dream Wilds are incredibly psychedelic. Most scholars of the Dream Wilds and most scholars of the Feywilds tend to go a little bit bobbins by the time they get it all. Thankfully, Cora's Fey patronage, being a Feylock, means that she's able to transfer between the two and keep her mind mostly intact. Now, this is one of the joys of being a DM, is that sometimes I can tell you that something's there when it's not, and you can't say anything about it, and to you it's real. Even though I can later on go back and go, no, that was never there. I haven't done it yet to you, but be warned. Especially when it comes to things like illusions, psychedelic drugs, and the Feywild. So, you were going and hunting down the work of Leanthus, a very old high elf, 3,000 years old, who is currently in his bed, sleeping peacefully for the first time in a very long time. He was supposed to die peacefully in his sleep, but somebody put a bloody death ward on him. So, yes, he's enjoying the finer things in life now that he feels like he has passed the baton on of his burdens to this mysterious benefactor in his dreams, that being Cora, who took the guise of Darian, his best friend. You followed him to an experiment that he did long, long ago, which addled his mind and has been torturing him ever since. You, in the previous session, took up the mantle of investigating the Witch Queen. And as a result, Leanthus has peaceful sleep, now letting go of a dream that's haunted him for many hundreds of years. You used your collective powers, some of you in your dream state, to follow the current location in that dream, so not current present day, but current then, location of the Witch Queen. Cora used her bloodhound, as the Summer King described them, the dreaming Eclipse, Glory, Aiden.
Oh yeah, Eclipse is doing like her like biggest Tomb Raider kitty. She's like, she's channeling her in the Lara Croft.
Yeah, and Farewell, where Cora's own self-doubt would end up creating problems in the dreaming, she's using her bloodhounds, her dreaming friends, to be able to get through certain barriers. One of them being that Cora knew that she was going into a dodgy looking tomb that was secreted in a small quarry somewhere. She knew there'd be traps, she knew there'd be things to mislead you, and yet it was the ego of her tabaxi friend that took her straight away to the location that she needed to be. And this is where we restart that scene at the beginning of the game. So first of all, the scene is a ritual room. It has a ritual circle that's been made out of carved stone. So the stone on the floor has been laid down and then carved. In the inlay, in the grooves that have been carved out of it, precious metal has been placed so that it's a permanent, as far as anything can be permanent, ritual circle. It's a magical circle. You have done the rolls to know that this is kind of primordial, elemental in nature. You've already looked at that. It's more of an arcane ritual room than a divine one. You watched as the retinue that the Witch Queen had before, 4 undead casters, maybe minor versions of liches, perhaps, completed a ritual. There's 2 on either side, and in the middle is the Witch Queen, who is kneeling in supplication in front of an empty dais. The ritual completes, and the figure appears on the dais. This figure is a vibrant, blue-skinned, naked female form. Strange crystalline eyes, and she's got this cold, uncanny valley about her, like a mannequin. Which is why, despite Corinne's assertions that Glory would be interested, there's just something artificial about everything you're seeing here. Even though she is what some people would consider fantastical, the firm, almost solid, although it does move, shapely form, the crystalline eyes, the hair is like mist or clouds spilling down her back. I'm going to use her for now. There's just something about it that makes you relate to this as a statue or a mannequin or a construct, something that just says this isn't the real deal. When this creature, which we're going to call a Djinn for now, starts speaking, there's something duplicitous in the tone that only some of you pick up, because Nick and Kate, I think, both did True Sight. For you two in particular, this is very duplicitous. For the rest of you, you can feel this tickle in the back of your head that you feel that this should do something to your mind, but it isn't. Because you're in dreams. That shit don't happen to you here, baby. No problem. No problem at all. I'm going to go through the scene between the viziers, which is what I'm going to call them now, that we did describe with Felicia, have a kind of ancient respected figure dress, basically a kind of village elder dress that was considered very common around Meridia, Vardencourt area long time ago. And that's something that Felicia's education will have picked up. Well, Glory's education will have picked up. The creature appears and says, "You summoned me here, though I see no quarry, no asset, no bargain worthy of my attention." One of the viziers is clearly speaking, gestures in their direction. The mouth doesn't move. Instead, this death rattle voice comes out from the general vicinity of their face. "We call you on behalf of our patron. She wishes to renegotiate her relationship with you after you were parted so very long ago. She has had a vision, as is her wont, and believes that the future events require both of you to be in concert in order to thrive. She wishes to allow you into her research regarding the sanctuary." You can see that there's a movement from the Witch Queen. Spindly, emaciated form, her skin dry and taut against what is a twisted skeletal frame, elongated in the arms especially, and the legs. The skin, as you look at it now, being able to focus a little more, looks almost tanned. And I don't mean tanned as in sun, I mean tanning, leather. But the Witch Queen does nothing. It's just kneeling in supplication. The Djinn, and this is part that I only write a certain amount to start off the scene, obviously, and then I kind of just do what the gist of the scene is. The Djinn looks down and says, "What would I need from you that I cannot already achieve myself?" The Vizier says, "We have constructed the sanctuary already. It is in its beginning stages, but we believe that if we show, when this being arrives, that we are out of its grasp, it will choose to entreat with us rather than rely on conquest, choosing the more profitable and least troublesome path. We are also counting on the fact that the construct of this sanctuary will show this being that we are not minor underlings to be trifled with, and we, as a result, will be able to join their organization, their ranks, and still survive. Even in your plane of existence, we believe that this being will eventually break through and take by force what you would rather entreat with." She looks around. "You come to this, a place sacred to me, built by one of my devoted as part of my bargain with him. You sully this place. Look at you." And she's addressing the Witch Queen directly. "When I first made pact with you, you were full of life, of love. I felt something in you that I am incapable of feeling, and as such, you appealed to me. Your yearning for your king, your love, the love that you have followed all your life, and yet could not get close to. Oh, your thoughts, your feelings, how your breath would lengthen to see your chest rise and fall and your blood and your cheeks to blush in his presence. Yes, it gave me a taste of a life that is denied to me, And I understood mortals that little bit more through you. What are you now? Look at you. A husk. There's nothing there that I would wish to entreat with. Dangers come and go. I am timeless after all. I have survived many people who would wish to control me, to bind me. I've had several masters and mistresses. I've been trapped and freed and trapped again. I'm sure that even if I don't thrive, I will still survive in some form. You have nothing to give me. Nothing for me to taste. Nothing for me to experience. Tell me, husk, what is it now that you yearn for, other than that the most basic of any sentient creature requires? You wish to survive. Most people get that for free. For now, it's just an absence of any other thought, isn't it? You already know that you're done. You already know that you're refuge. Look at you. You're walking rot. That pretty skin. Those eyes. Brighter than any crystal that I ever found on the plane of elemental air. Now, look at you. She leaps down, grabs hold of the Witch Queen's head, yanks it back cruelly, and you can hear a cracking sound. And you can see the eye sockets, long since gone, have actually tanned, healed, stretched. You're not quite sure. You don't really want to think about it that much. But the sockets are barely concave anymore. And you can see that there's this tan skin over them. Look at you. Every part of you that was beautiful is gone. And I don't just mean the material. She brings her hand away and looks at her hand as if it's filthy. There are many on this plane of existence who will be able to make bargain with me, but not you. Leave or be destroyed. The walls start to frost up. Where there was condensation before, there's an audible cracking as the temperature plummets within the chamber. Wind starts to howl, and there's a sudden smell of ozone that appears. Leave or be destroyed. The viziers look at each other. One of them gestures as if to about to speak, and her physical form disappears, but a disembodied voice says, I suppose my first favor of the next to come into this chamber will be to clean up the mess. With that, the viziers suddenly start casting wards around them. You can see sigils just appearing in the air, wrapping around their form. Felicia, without even a roll, you know this is an old kind of magic. It's a very, very overt type of magic.
Oh.
It's very, very, very old wizardry. To the point where wizards would never use this type of casting anymore because it's effectively writing in the air what you're about to do.
Ah.
Yeah. And you can see this is elemental ward. They start to carve these sigils in the air. And you can see that as they're doing it, the similar sigils are appearing around the Witch Queen. And one of the viziers turns around and says, My lady, we must leave. And stood up, her head kind of slightly down, not this confident figure that you saw before. She almost slumps, mooches out of the chamber. There's almost a slightly stroppy gait to her, and she walks straight past you. Apparently you guys have suddenly become viewers rather than actors in this. Leave now. You can see that even as the Witch Queen and the viziers are passing, you can see that the wards around them are crackling as they're just about holding out this intense lowering of temperature. You can see the chamber continue to freeze. Lightning arcs start to appear floor to ceiling that you have a feeling would have wasted the viziers had they been hit. And some of you are feeling a little bit too cold now. I would like Nick, Corinne, Rodrigo, and Felicia to do Constitution saves with advantage. Cora, you don't get the advantage.
Okay.
I have fluffy fur.
Oh dear.
That would be 10 for me.
Don't you have
18
like?
to me.
Aren't you trained in Constitution?
Here's the thing. I rolled a 1 and a 3.
Ooh.
And Constitution is a dump stat.
Bruh.
It is
that-
not, especially not for blood hunters.
I mean, here's the thing. I no longer have proficiency in Constitution. However, one of the things I gain for level ups is like 5 points in con saves, and even with that, that's why it's like, that's why I rolled a 10. Because
It
it's like I
happens.
have
It's a dice game.
7.
Yeah, Rodrigo, you suddenly wake up.
Oh, that's colder
and-
than usual.
And you're not cold. But you get the memory of being intensely cold, like just about to go hypothermic.
Lovely.
Glory,
What time is it when I wake up?
27.
27. Yeah, you steel yourself against it and you're kind of lucid dreaming your way through this now. Yeah, Aiden, it's about 4 a.m.
Oh, goody. I'll get back to when you've done with everyone else.
Sure. Nick.
18.
Yep, you managed to steel yourself against it as well. You start to just kind of empathize with the cold almost. You're there like, okay, yep, I'm supposed to be feeling this. I'm not really here. I'm not really doing this. But you kind of know that you wouldn't have lasted very long. You're like, I'm glad that I'm steeling myself against this. If this was real, I probably wouldn't last a few rounds.
It's like Tomb of Annihilation. I got a 19, by the way, Simon.
Yep, same thing. Cora, what did you get?
8.
8. Okay. So, Cora,
It's now dead.
She freezes.
take 9 points of cold damage. And
I've still got 7 temporary hit points. That can't be right? We can't have.
No, I think
7.
that's from the Heroes Feast we had.
Ages ago.
Like,
that was a while back, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, 7. Did you
so
say?
yeah,
No, sorry. What did you just
9.
say? 9.
9 points of cold damage. Because whereas the others would just be woken up, this is happening for real for you. Your body is actually here. You are prone to some of the effects. You can be... Well, I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this place has just become incredibly dangerous. However, you know that there's some options available to you. You can just scene change, like how you got here. You can just say, oh, well, clearly we go here next, or we go back home and have milk and cookies, and the scene ends. Or you, and if you prompt them to, your dreamers can try to interact with, and I'll make clear on this, the dream version of the Djinn.
Yeah.
Not the real version.
I mean, Iden popped out of his existence for the dream, right?
Yeah, he's gone. Yeah. You turn around, you look back, he's gone.
I will try and I'll be like, wait, can you see me? Can you hear me? We mean no harm.
There's a sudden rush as you walk into the scene to interact with it, and several ribbons of thought connect to you as everyone who's dreamed of this Djinn or has memories of the Djinn and therefore must have dreamed about them at some point, fill in some of the gaps, giving you enough of the Djinn to be able to animate her. And the room suddenly warms up. It's still around about 5 degrees. It's frosty, but not what it was before, which was probably about minus 60.
Yeah. Hopefully not
So,
deadly.
Yeah, it's not deadly, but it's kind of like, I can turn this back down anytime I like.
Uh-huh.
There's a sudden flurry of snow. And the blue figure with crystal eyes comes back. You summoned me here. What quarry, what asset, what bargain is worthy of my attention?
Ooh. Hello.
You're a cat.
Yes, I am.
How peculiar.
Actually, I'm a tabaxi.
How peculiar.
Have you ever seen a tabaxi before?
No, I haven't. Cora, you know that in none of the dreams, any of the dreamers have seen any reference to this character having seen a tabaxi, and it's extrapolating. The real Djinn may have met a tabaxi or knows what one is.
Right.
Yes,
We were on a hunt for
How thrilling.
she who just left.
She turns into this witch.
The face darkens and grimaces and goes, "Oh, her."
Yeah, she turns into this weird lich thing and tries to make her own dummy plane or something.
The sanctuary. Yes. I'm aware of this. She wishes to hide, perchance to bargain, to show the sanctuary as her opus, and hope that whatever evil, if evil could be applied as a word in this case, that comes, will look upon her favorably.
You used to have a connection with her.
Once.
Does it still exist?
No. When she tore herself, tore her humanity, she no longer became able to form the type of bond that you would be able to bond with me. You, well, your soul is somewhat different. But you have a soul. As do you, my feline friend. And you, too. Your souls are able to form contract with me. It would have been just a business contract with her, not one that I would have entered. There is no earthly gain that she can offer me.
Okay.
Fascinating.
Would you help us?
Would you be able to tell us more about this sanctuary?
I'm sure it's a simple self-sustaining demi-plane. Creatures more powerful than her have been able to create them in the past. Normally, using some great arcane battery does mean that they would have to steal into the other planes of existence from time to time to power it up or get a new one.
Her ambitions are slightly higher than just create the demi-plane, that she wants to create a completely new plane, because she has been gathering a lot of souls.
Then she's making enemies she is not aware of. The gods do not look kindly on such things. Personally, I do not enter such fights.
So you can help us in this?
I can help you if you wish. The question is, my young friend, what is it that you're willing to offer me? Or, more accurately, share with me?
I already
what do
have
you
one
want?
packed.
Yes, you do. Which is why I said that your soul is quite different to most that I have seen. But you are capable of entering contracts with me. However, for any contract that needs to be made, one must first know each other's names. I will furnish you with mine if you furnish me with yours.
No. That's impolite. Tell us your name, friend, and we will tell you ours.
Levara. Levara of the West Wind.
I'm Eclipse of the Moon.
Do I believe she's being genuine?
Not only that, you get to make a history check that the others are incapable of making.
Okay, well, I'll roll insight first. And that is a 26 on the insight.
Power Eclipse.
26. She is absolutely genuine in telling you her name. Other than that, there's a general duplicity in everything she says.
And a 16 for the history.
16. You don't remember the name specifically, but the way she presents herself, you believe that this is one of the Lords of the Great Storm, and there are many of them. There is a multitude of them. Plane of Elemental Air has a flighty, feudal kind of build to it. Think Renaissance Italy, in that if you can gather power, if you can build buildings, if you have a town or a city or something like that, you can pretty much declare yourself a lord. This is true of this. There's only 4 factions, and that is North, South, East, and West Wind. Interestingly, even though they have these factions, there's nothing that they stand for. Whereas a lot of other factions stand for a particular thing. You just have to go and ask them if they are pro or against you, your ideals, or the thing you want them to help with.
What was her name again? Sorry, just so I can write it down properly.
Levara. The other thing that you will get on a 16 is that the West Wind has been at war with the Plane of Elemental of Water, probably the least out of the 4 factions. If they were to be associated with something, they are normally associated with knowledge and the arts, but that's as loosely as possible. Don't expect to use that reliably. But typically, they tend to be more to do with that. They tend to value emotion. Eclipse of the Moon. Welcome to my temple, as much as one may have one. This was constructed by a delightful young man who called upon my powers through an existing contract. He found one of my gems, which is considered a favor, and she twists her hand in the air and a gem just appears. It's a pale blue opal.
Oh, do you have any of those still missing?
There are a few scattered amongst the prime material plane, I'm sure.
Okay, plan after the Heart of
Those who gather one of these and speak my name, although the stone itself may betray me and tell you my name, will gain an audience with me. He did so. His family had their crops, their livelihood, ruined by a storm. He asked, what would it take for me to help him, to give him favor, so that his family may thrive again? I made a simple accord with him. I needed a foothold in the prime material plane, and so I set him to the task of constructing this chamber. As such, I gave him the ability to harness the wind in ways that most mortals cannot. He was able to favorably steer ships. He was able to power windmills with a thought. He became very rich of it.
What was his name?
I'm afraid that is protected by contract.
Okay.
Naturally. That's why they're in place.
Cora, in the back of your head, the word Hoben appears. Hoben.
So, what do you know about this lich lady?
Oh, thank you. I thought you were going to ask about the Heart of Jordan.
I mean, that's after. I don't know if she actually would know anything about Heart of Jordan, but do you know anything about the Heart of Jordan?
No more than anybody else.
Okay.
Jordan was a fool.
Probably. Anyway, lich lady.
She was a lovely creature. Celestine. Beautiful. Eyes like bright sapphires in the sun. Pale skin. She burnt so quickly in the sun, chilled so quickly in the wind. Her hair, almost silver grey, beautiful. An oddity, the hair colour of her family. And yet, she obsessed over one single thing. She could barter with the spirits to do so many wonderful things. She could have lived a life where she would enjoy the world in ways denied to so many. She did not need to worry about money, disease. Food and drink even came to her so easily. She could conjure it from the air. And yet she lived in such misery over a young boy who would come hunting, brash, scuff-kneed, but muscular, handsome, astride his steed, riding through the lands that were given by contract to her family. She would watch him, and she would hunger for him. Years later, when she realized that he was the heir apparent, she realized that there were a great many people deciding on who would be the best person for him, what match, what favor, what alliance with which families would benefit him the most. Part of her wanted to let him go for his own sake. Such love, such sacrifice that she was willing to have. The one thing that distracted her from all the bounties that she was born into. And she was willing to throw it all away for him. When she cried into the wind and I heard her so very far away, it was that stirred my heart. A heart that's not given to emotion, my kind, not born with the ability for it to come to us in the same way that you do. We find ourselves beholden to masters and able to feel through them, though the masters that conjure us are not very kind by and whole. After all, and she slaps her body with the back of her hands. This was given to me by my first master, ever to remain so. And yet, we feel it all, the good and the bad that our masters feel. And they came just so freely to her. So I went to her, willingly, at my own expense. I asked her what made her wail her anguish so into the wind. It was easy to find her, being that her blood and her legacy from her family allowed a greater connection with my kind and others like me. She sat sobbing emptied her heart out to me. And as she did so, she opened herself in other ways as well, and the flood of emotions poured into my body like an empty vessel with a touch of wine for the first time. I allowed her counsel. I came to her night after night, seeing how time did not heal these wounds. It made things worse. Even once she had resolved to make the sacrifice for him, she found herself hating herself, feeling foolish, feeling downtrodden, feeling, what's that phrase? Like a doormat. And so I said to her, why not be the princess that he deserves? And so we set about in task for her to tether herself to me, forsaking all other spirits, to cast aside the abilities of her birth, to make one soul link with me. The pact was genuine. As she would gain the love of her life, I would be able to feel what she felt. In the pursuit of him, the yearning, the urgency, the danger of having her heart broken. And yet she was successful, thanks to a few of my abilities to help things along the way. A little extra luck, a chance meeting, for her to always look pristine and perfect in his presence, to make sure that every time he saw her, the air smelled of summer blossom. Little things, little machinations. But I believed her worthy, more worthy than any that were brought before the new fledgling king, as he was, his father passing, not by me, I would say. And yet, it was her love for him that was also her undoing. The dream is struggling, Cora.
You're muted.
No, I'm not.
No, now I can hear.
Our time here is short. Do you know what she did? You said she gave up her powers, took different ones from you. So if she tried to do something that she used to be able to do, is that why it went wrong? Is that why she is this creature now?
She was able to weave the power that spread from me down the bond between us into her, to make her one of the more powerful casters of her family ever. She started to weave it in such a way that broke our contract. At first, it was her jealousy that drove him away. It was her love for him that drove her mad, drove her suspicious. She lived out of fear rather than the joy she should have felt. Simply a joyful life, a happy life with him would have been enough. And yet she pushed and pushed, never satisfied. The yearning that I felt was actually insatiable hunger. And he was, well, let's just say he did not live up to the dream. As such, when he wronged her, and he did wrong her by taking mistress, she tore herself apart, and in doing so broke the contract with me. All that was good, all that was innocent, all that was wholesome, torn from her, every part that hurt, leaving behind all that hated herself, all that hated him, everything that hated the world and the world around her that reminded her of her loss. That is what she is now, and nothing else.
Do you know how we might stop her?
Simply destroy the wretch. There's nothing left.
That is our plan.
I should have destroyed her when I had the chance. I could have destroyed All 5 of them, and yet, I confess, I was indulging in a rarely felt emotion. I was insulted. How dare she? I brought her dreams to her feet. And she ruined it. She ruined it for her, for us. We could have been happy. She could have been happy. And so, yes, I confess, I let her leave in punishment to walk this plane of existence reminded of her failure. See what becomes of my kind when we are too far away from humanity. Her body crackles with lightning. I can be as cold as that which I command. If you wish to entreat with me, as I have made some realization and conclusion, find me outside of the dreaming. There's a huge blinding light. Cora, do me a Constitution saving throw. Felicia, Corinne, and Nick, you have been yeeted out of the dreaming. You wake up feeling a shock, like someone's tasered you.
How does that feel for Farewell as a being made completely of water?
Well, considering he would convulse and the tabaxi has still got her head in his lap, chances are he's going to knee her head into the table.
Oh, shit, Tiger Knee Eclipse.
Yeah, and like, Eclipse's tail is now triple the size.
No, that's fair. It's all pooped up.
Yeah.
I haven't had a shock like that since I was with that air genasi.
I rolled an 8 again, or I rolled a 6
Jesus.
plus 2 again.
Okay. 5, 8, 10, 13, 16 total. 16 lightning damage as you're unable to rationale away the energy coursing through your body. It's very hard to say it's just a dream when the other part of your brain goes, but so am I.
But it hurts, yeah.
It's all part of a dream, and Cora's brain is like, is it though?
Yeah, it's like, it's only a dream. I'm a dream. Shit. You find yourself stood there. Everyone else has disappeared. In fact, because it's a dream, little wisps of smoke where they was once stood. The Witch Queen suddenly kind of shivers and dissolves.
Do you mean the Djinn?
Sorry, the Djinn. Sorry,
okay.
Suddenly and dissolves. All of the other material around you dissolves as well. You're now stood in a cave, and in front of you is a deathly pale with blue lips girl, woman, hard to tell. She looks about 14. She's got long grey blue hair that goes down to her butt, and she's dressed in a kind of a robe that looks slightly elven. As I say, she looks deathly pale. She looks partly elven. You get that she's a true fae, at which point she goes, "Oh, sorry, I had to. It's the dream. You asked for it."
Yes.
The dreamers are gone now. I can reveal myself.
Right. And you are?
Elisand of the Winter Court. Don't kill me. Don't kill me. This is. I was called here.
I'm not gonna kill you, unless you plan to try and kill me, and then maybe we'll talk. Or
dream's over. This is the wilds again. I don't need to be here anymore.
Was that all fake? Was that just you?
Of course it was. It's a bloody dream.
No, but
You don't know how dreams work.
I mean, I'm new here. Okay, give me a break.
She sits down on a rock. So am I.
Oh, great. Okay, well,
I'm only 120 years old. This is kind of my first big role as well. I'm sorry.
Come on, dude. It's my first day.
Yeah. Don't bully.
I thought you were all dreamers, and then I saw you. But then the walkers were here, so I had to stay. I had to stay channeling the information. I'm sorry. Why are you here? Aren't we supposed to be at war or something? I don't know. I've never met a member of the Summer Court before.
to be honest, the war thing, the war thing's so dull, but,
They keep explaining it to me. Apparently we're at war, but it's nothing personal. What's that all about?
Well, it just seems to be a tit for tat kind of thing that it just has to be, so you just have to, so, maybe you slap me, I slap you, we're done. I don't know, but, look.
She slaps you.
Okay. I actually was kind of joking. And I slap her back.
Okay, so we're done? We're not
we're done. We're done. We've done the fighty thing now.
She is deathly cold. She is so cold when you touch her.
Okay, that's weird. I mean,
You're
it
really
makes
warm.
sense. Yeah, well, I mean, okay, summer court, winter court, it makes sense. Put 2 and 2. Or
okay.
Cold and hot. Look, we're trying to that witch queen. We're trying to take her down, and
okay, right.
I don't know if your side is gonna do it better than mine.
Hang on, Memron.
Oh God.
Memron, it shouldn't have gone too far. Memron.
Wait, I haven't got back.
She runs up the ramp. Goes, Memron, you still here? And this. He's got like a chainmail on. It again looks fey. He's got a little sword that's kind of like a curved scimitar, and he goes, "Is she gonna kill us?" No, it's okay. We slapped each other. It's a thing. Come down.
Now she started a war. Yeah.
You've now started a new tradition in battling where they don't really want to fight to the death. That all arguments can be settled by a round of slapping, and then that's it. Everyone can then carry on.
Be like Monty Python.
Oh no!
Shit.
Oh no!
Oh, thank you.
Hermit! D100, please. And I need somebody else to check it because my daughter has my player's handbook.
Oh
No!
I've got one right down there.
Hello, I so secretly a communist.
Wow.
Also,
not so secret. You put it in the name.
80. Surely not.
It's the wild magic table, right?
No, wait.
Wild
is this Steve?
I'm hoping it's Steve.
Okay.
Wild magic. It's in the sorcerer section.
Yeah. I already found it.
What's 80?
80. Illusory butterflies and flower petals flutter in the air within 10 feet of you for the next minute.
Okay. Fantastic. So actual butterflies and petals just start appearing from it all, and Memon goes, Does that mean she likes us?
Means she's aroused. Slap her again.
Mysterious voice.
You can see that this clearly Winterfey. He's got frost on his armor that seems to stay, and he seems to think that you're flexing, and so he mutters under his breath, and a small flurry of snow starts to whip around him.
Right.
I must warn you, I'm a trained squire.
And
his hand is on the hilt of his sword.
What? Wait, come down here. Why have they sent? Is it just the two of you?
The others have gone back. They went back. I was waiting for everyone.
What do you mean the others? How many of you are here?
Well, you saw there were 4 of them.
Right. You're all just playing parts. Okay.
Memron, aka the Witch Queen. And he
Right.
gives you a courtly bow.
Okay. You know I'm currently hunting the Witch Queen. You probably shouldn't have told me that you're her.
I'm not the
And I
real Witch
kinda
Queen. I'm not the real Witch
got-
Queen.
Got my eye.
Which way? Elrond turns around and says, turns around and says, she doesn't know how dreams work.
Look, okay. Stop rubbing it in. Okay, you noobs. I just explain, maybe, how this, how you're doing the magic thing. Because I didn't need that chill. Because I'm feeling it now. I'm cold. Like, and...
You stepped into it.
Well, okay. So...
Hey, we have no control over what we do when we're in the dream. We have our lines, yeah? We got to do them. Yeah? Or we don't get anything.
So are you making this up, or are you pulling this from someone's mind and then recreating it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, that didn't quite answer the question. Are you making it up?
At which point, Merrin goes, you're a half-blood.
Yeah. Duh.
Duh.
Well, no, duh. I've never met a member of the Summer Court. For all I know, they're all...
I'm not from there, okay? I have a
Elrond
kind of
looks at him
deal.
and Memron goes and looks at him. He goes, half walker. And she looks at you as if you're the most interesting thing in the world.
Yes. I guess so. So that's
Oh.
why I don't know all this stuff, because
Okay.
I don't know all this stuff.
You're in the dream wilds.
I figured that. I knew
Okay,
that.
good. The dream wilds, we're able to step into the dream wilds, at least our spirits. I'm not here, kind of, and I'm not kind of back in the court, but we're able to channel our essence into the dream wilds, become part of the dreaming in order to harvest energy and gain power.
Right.
The more that we do it, it's the closest to a fae gets to feed. We don't really eat and drink the same way that a Mundus would do. If we step in, it's like a mummer's show. We get giving our lines from the dreaming. Anybody who has dreamt something before, normally they feed us the lines. You were using a neuromancy, and so we had to fill in the lines with those who had the information.
Right.
So you felt several dreamers contributing to the dream, yes?
Yes.
At which point Elrond says, I saw the energy ribbons going into your body.
That was, yeah, that was exactly what that was.
So walkers who have dreamt this before, also there's kind of an archive, I guess you would call it, of dreams that's held by the Fae who have contributed. It's part of why we do it. It's kind of a job within the court. It's what we do to gain favor, to show that we're doing our duty to our liege, queen, king, lord, whatever you have above you. We can step into the dreaming and become part of it, and in doing so we keep the information. That's what you are feeling. The djinn that you spoke to was a simulation of that djinn that's only as accurate as the dreamer's recollections.
Dreams are not usually memories, though. They're usually, I don't know, bizarre, change a lot, strange, made up.
They are interpolations, extrapolations, abstracts.
So how
They are.
can I pull what's real and what's not?
That's up to you, I'm afraid. what I can tell you is that our performances were true according to the information fed into us.
You're from the Winter Court. So, cold is your thing. Is cold the Djinn's thing? Or was that from you?
Well, I can do whatever the role that I'm playing could do.
Right.
If she could fire darts of crystal, so would I be able to, but only as long as I was playing the part. I'm incapable of doing anything now other than a few of our regular parlor tricks. I can make you feel sad.
No, I'm fine with that. That's good, thank you. Right.
I can take away hurt, make you feel emotionless, cold.
I'm good. I'm good. We're weird, the half wakey people. We kind of like having those, because otherwise, you just no. I'm good. Okay. How the heck do we convince each side to help here? Because I feel like you guys might have this more than us. No offense, don't say anything, obviously, to the bosses.
Elrond turns around and says, "Is this why she..." And Memran goes, "No!" No.
Yep. Shh, on the...
maybe we could send a message back, tell it to our superiors, and maybe it could go to somebody high enough. Elrond is kind of doing that little pacey thing on the spot that makes it look like she wants to go to the toilet. You have a feeling that she wants to say something but can't.
Okay. Stop doing that, because that's distracting, and I know that you're... I just... Okay. Look, we need to take this person down. The person, obviously. And to be honest, doesn't matter how we do it, I don't think, as long as it's done.
Memran goes, is this what the king is hunting right now?
Do I have any inclination as to whether I should be relaying that sort of information to the Winter Court?
The Winter Court already knows.
I can help you a bit with that.
I just feel like I would be I would know enough.
Or it would probably be an insight check or an intelligence check.
Oh, and she's so intelligent. Holy moly, this dice. Okay.
It's going in dice jail?
Well, I mean, it's not like rolling that badly. It's just not rolling well. Insight.
You should still exile it.
10.
It needs to learn its
You're
lesson.
pretty sure that you're okay, but you can't remember why.
Right.
You had a talk with like one of the high-ranking Winter Court officials, being like, "Hey, we know we're hunting this. Should we like? Is it better for you to go, or is it better for us to go?"
The general, but but you know, she doesn't know whether she's meant to relay that to these, squires who. But anyway, right. Sorry. What was that? I was rolling. Okay, I was rolling because he was like, "Is this what the thing?" Yeah. Yes.
And you were kind of like, is it okay for me to say this?
Yeah, and I'm thinking it is from what from that.
You
roll.
can't remember why though.
Yeah. Yes. This is what he's hunting. Does your queen like to hunt?
She likes to have enemies. If this is what he's hunting, then maybe we can send a message back. Maybe we can use some of the information, because we were here too. Would you be okay with this? You are the dreamer. Ish.
I feel like Why not use this rivalry for something useful? Have them both hunt.
A competition.
That's what they're always doing. At least this way, one of them will succeed and, you know, can claim some sort of victory if that's what they need so badly. No one actually gets hurt except the thing that we're trying to destroy, which shouldn't really exist anyway. It seems like the
I have a
best
message
kind of
from
rivalry.
my betters. To the victor, the spoils.
You're down.
Right. Well, I guess that means we can't team up then, but you know, sure. And I give him a slap across the cheek.
He takes off his mailed hand and
appreciate that.
and gives you just a perfunctory across the face.
I think this is a thing.
You've started a new fashion. It's gonna take on for about a few hundred years.
Either that, or someone's gonna slap and the other person's gonna stab, and it's gonna end real quick.
He puts on his kind of very elegant gauntlet and says, "It's been a pleasure talking to you, milady." He's already taken his hand off the sword a while back, drops his hands to the side and gives you a very courtly bow, and his eyes cast down. He doesn't do like the martial artist bow. He does actually bow his head completely, and says, "But I'm afraid that we're being recalled."
I should go too. All right.
He
Good
steps
luck.
back, as does Elrond, and they both disappear.
I will try and imagine myself or bamf myself back to the summer court. If that is a thing I can do.
You suddenly are assailed by a smell, stable smell, and you're stood right next to your Sunhawk, who is pissed at you, just looks at you, raises an eyebrow, which makes the tufts around its eyes kind of flare up momentarily, and it just looks away from you and doesn't look back.
What did I do? It was cold there. You wouldn't have liked it. Okay.
It bristles its feathers.
I'll let you cool down. Heat up. Anyways, we're another day, night, cycle thing. God damn, this is confusing. Okay, and I'm just gonna walk away.
Arguing with your mount, I love it. Yeah, you are in the Knights training grounds just outside the castle. You get quite a few people. You can see that they're landing with their mounts. Some of them are just kind of answer the kind of nod from another knight and goes, "Nothing." Jumps off the mount and goes up and accepts a goblet of wine. The other people are landing and suddenly, with a scroll in their hand, starts running towards the castle with some pertinent information. A lot of them are turning around and either giving you a respectful nod. Some of the squires are outright saluting you because you're a Heartsguard. You're pretty high up in the order. And others are actually, those that you can see are quite powerful fae, do actually mention you by name as they go past. Sakura, and keep going. You automatically know all of their names.
That's always good, because yeah. Because Kate wouldn't. She's the worst. I would like, if I can, to roll to see whether I have any inclination or any idea, similar kind of way, as to whether I think it would be smart or not smart to let on this information to the general or Enola of what I just did.
Give me another insight or intelligence roll, your choice.
Okay, that's a bit better.
because you've doubled down on this and you don't realize that you have.
18.
Okay. Yes. Telling them is always the correct option. I said very early on that the Summer Court don't lie. They don't like doing it. They'll omit information, but they don't like lying. They are brash and open and painfully honest sometimes.
Right.
The only exception to that is Enola, because of her, again, half-blood ability. She can lie.
Yeah.
A lot of the others don't like to do it. In fact, the more powerful they are, the less likely they are of able to be able to do it.
Right.
The Summer King never lies.
I will go on the hunt for the general. I don't think I'd go straight to the Summer King or anything. And with Enola being on the cusp like that, I don't want her to influence me a little bit. So I'm going to go straight to general, because it was the general who came to us concerned. And so
as you focus on her, there's a particular clash of swords that seems to be louder than the others, and you know that she's holding one of the swords.
I head straight for that noise.
There's a... Hey, Mike. The Tapioca is Mike, by the way. He's used that name for quite a while. You go towards the sword clamor, and you see, unsurprisingly, a fully decked out summer night, beautiful, shining, honey blonde hair, bright orange eyes, and fully decked out in plate, fighting a 6 to 7 foot tall, bald-headed, beautiful African-looking woman with burning infernos for eyes, wearing a lovely dress that is a mixture of terracottas, burnt umbers, and golds. She's dancing around him in the complete lack of armor that she has on, and she's meeting him blow for blow. With a sword, you know that she normally has a glaive, but the glaive is up against the wall. You have a feeling that she doesn't really use that much for dueling, but she has an elegant fey longsword, and she's matching this knight blow for blow. He's not holding back, and neither is she. She has her sword in one hand. He has both hands on the hilt of his sword, and he's coming at her with very brash heaven to earth strikes.
I just come up and just lean against something and watch for a bit. I don't want to disturb their fight, and I think Cora's really intrigued to just watch them, and like how they, because she doesn't really fight much like hand to hand like that. She's so used to using magic and stuff, and so I think she's just intrigued and to watch them, and probably I think she's watching the general more than anything, like just how she moves, how she fights, like just all of that.
She's graceful. She's fluid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She licks out like flame, like sunspots, solar flares. That's how she strikes out. When she does so, it's forceful, it's direct. There's no duplicity about it all. Everything is about being forward and calculating and powerful and fast. Very, very fast. If you weren't in the dreaming, you'd probably have less of a chance to follow her movements. Most of it does seem to be basic melee, but there's a point when the knight steels himself, charges forward with a certain amount of frustration and rage, his body a blur, even for you in your Fey form. You have trouble tracking his movement. And as he strikes, the bottom half of the general, her flowing skirt, suddenly just dissolves into flame, and she goes round behind him in what seems to be like an afterburner move that scorches the earth in a semicircle around him and holds a blade to his throat. At which point he drops the blade and, still shaking with rage, goes, "Yield!" She puts the other hand on his shoulder and goes, "No shame, my friend. You forced me to use my power." He kind of grits himself for a second and then throws his head back in forceful but not forced, mirthful laughter. Huge Brian Blessed type bellow of a laugh. And you can see he's got very much a more hench version of Darian was it Taryn Darrington?
Darrington.
Yeah, kind of golden beard kind of thing. Very much the kind of laughing cavalier kind of look to him, except hench as fuck. Throws back his hair, which looks beautiful and immaculate, and despite the fact he's just been fighting fucking Faye.
Yeah.
Not
a drip of sweat on them.
No, not at all. The look of exertion, but it's kind of hot. She pulls her sword away, throws the sword to one side in a very much a casual gesture. He picks up his own sword, which instinctively is his sword, sheathes it, gives a bow where he does look her in the eye, proper military bow, and walks away. There's a smile on the general's face. You know that she's normally quite stern. She's always got this look like she's gritting her teeth. But there's a smile on her face, genuinely warm, as she walks towards you. Sakura.
Nice moves. That was impressive.
He worked up a sweat.
He certainly did.
One of our better fighters. Even in Mundus, he would be able to hold his own without using the Feywild.
Good to know.
How goes your hunt?
Interesting. Can we talk?
By all means. She gestures into a corner that you're damn sure didn't have a table, 2 chairs, and a tea set, but it has exactly that now.
Fair enough. I wander over with her, and essentially I'm going to probably just try and relay everything that happened. I think, the whole no lie thing, and she might as well just recap all through what happened, the whole dream thing, and including obviously all the end stuff and things, trying to read her as she's saying it all. But yeah, I'm gonna do an eclipse. I should just said that.
Yeah. You just do a lore dump, lore vomit on the general. Yep. So she listens attentively. When you recall your interaction with the 2 junior courtiers of the Winter Court, a genuine mirthful smile creeps across her face, and she says, "Don't worry about the bragging. It's expected of our kind. And
I figured.
Settle that wager, I'm sure."
So, you think it's okay? I mean, I figured there's no point in picking sides or knowing who could do what. Let them
Cora, there
find
was
it
a
out.
competition between us long before you said it out loud.
I know.
Now it's simply formalized the arrangement. To the victor the spoils. I wonder what they meant by that. But we intend to make sure that this creature is destroyed. And don't worry, we'll be one step ahead of the Winter Court. I'm sure they will give us clues to tease us along. It doesn't feel sporting to have your opponents too far behind you. Better to have them at their heels, so you can gloat at them in the face when you win. We're the same, don't worry. I'm not judging. I just know our kind.
Well, I leave that information with you, and I will... me and my friends can help, then you let us know. I don't want to interfere in any rivalry, but we can help either side, to be honest. We want to destroy this creature just as much as everyone else.
You have abilities that we do not, Cora. That's why you're so valuable to us. Not just you, but your friends as well. You have a location. You know where the Djinn's temple is. Go there. Speak to her properly. Not a dream version of her. You've managed to get enough information that you'll be able to approach her in the right manner. Use it. It was what? About 2 weeks travel? That's nothing, surely.
No, we should be all right. And in that time, maybe you will have learnt more as well.
Very well. Anyway, I must warn you that when you go back, all your friends are standing round your bed waiting for you to wake up.
Oh, joy.
I do hope you were clothed or at least had some form of dress when you disappeared.
Yes, because I know that. Why would I not? I'm not even. Yeah, well, anyway, I suppose if it's hot. Anyway, it's not. Thanks for the warning. I look forward to that. I should probably get back. They haven't slept much, probably.
Sweet reality.
It's weird. And I don't know like how I usually pop back whether I fall asleep in the Feywild or just curl up somewhere.
I'm going to give that to you. This is, I've thrown a lot of, okay, you gave me the seeds for your personal story, and then I threw a ton of extra shit in. How do you go back? Is there something that you hold on to get out? I mean, this is very Inception here, let's face it.
I know, yeah.
It's a definition Inception.
I feel like it makes sense to lie down as if you're falling asleep. Otherwise, there might be that weird sensation of like you standing and then.
In a way, that's kind of a focus or a tick that you need to have.
Yeah.
And so you're kind of like, if I fall asleep here, I wake up there, vice versa. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like that's how
interesting psychological metaphysics there of is this the reality and is the reality the dream? But let's not get into that right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And bring the other players back in as you lie on the floor and the grass just in front of the table, like nothing's wrong. Close your eyes, and suddenly the beautiful, sweet summer pollinated smell of the grass and the meadow flowers around you dissolves into an otherwise quite nicely laundered smelling bunch of sheets, and you hear the conversation of your friends around you.
Do we want to use this as a break moment?
Yeah, it's a good transition point, isn't it? And we will come back in 10 minutes' time. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Also secretly a communist, Tapioca, also known as Mike, and Stygian Moonlight. And as usual, Hermit, thank you for the wild magic burst. I haven't forgotten that. It's still going on because time's a little different in the Feywild. So she'll be waking up with butterflies.
Oh my goodness.
We will see you guys in 10 minutes' time. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
So when we left off, first of all, he says getting to the right screen. First of all, thank you, Jordan, for your 9-month subscription. Another person who has got Stream Baby. And
Stream Baby.
Stream Baby. Yeah, it's got to be Stream Baby. Also, to celebrate that, Jordan has set off a loot bomb.
Yay!
Oh, damn.
I'm going to roll a d6, and seeing as... Go on, Rodrigo, you haven't had a huge amount to do thus far, although we're just about to go into a scene with everybody. Roll me a d6 as well.
D6?
Mm-hmm.
6.
Oh. You guys each gain a Scornfuse item.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, no.
In turn, each of you guys write into chat Scornfuse bag.
I don't have access to chat.
I'll do it for you then.
Thank you.
Scornfuse.
I don't want to risk my
Glowing boots are fading.
Okay, sure. You have a pair of boots that glow, and you can use this once. It's a one-use item, as with everything in Scornfuse's bag, to just completely fade out of sight. They can't touch you.
So you mean I can have a stealth score of 40 instead of 30?
You can't be seen, you can't be heard, you can't be touched, and you go completely ethereal for a solid minute. If you do this, you have to be wearing the boots when you do it, and after you've done it, after the minute is up, the boots disappear, which presumably means that you either have to walk around. I'm checking your portrait. Actually,
he doesn't have shoes.
Doesn't wear shoes. But yeah, so you put on these boots, and then when they disappear, you go back to your cat feet. So no problem at all there. Let's see.
What is this human thing you call shoes?
You've got the foul-smelling sword of bubble projection. So for this one here, I've got my guidance document here.
Why did you get
What
that?
bubble projection is it? Oh, okay, so that's a 6. Okay.
You skipped Nyx, though.
Oh, Nyx. Okay, I'll do Nyx first. Illusionary cup of grease projection. So this cup, Nick, is illusionary for everybody other than you. When you pick it up, it's kind of solid in your hand. It's semi-translucent, and these will come into play in a minute. I'll tell you when you get these items. The cup. Anybody else who tries to touch it, their hand passes through the cup. If you try to pour water into the cup goes straight through. The water goes straight through the cup. So it's useless as a cup. But in your hands, it feels like a cup. Once you activate this cup and throw it, it uses one use of the grease spell. So it's a single use of the grease spell. The sword that we said for Kate, so it is a short sword. It is a regular short sword. You can use it as a short sword. It smells awful. It is so rank. So that when it's on you, anything other than something incredibly powerfully smelling, like dousing it in perfume, and even then that only works for a few minutes, there will be a smell of acrid rot around you. You can use this sword as an arcane focus for a single use of Otterluke's Resilient Sphere. Let's see. Next one up was Felicia. The Crackling Sword of Banishing. Okay, similar thing. This is a sword. Small arcs of lightning pass along its length. They're painful but don't confer any damage, so it's like a very low-level taser. And you can... Oh, thank you very much, Deroach. And Wing has now got a tier 1 sub. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom.
The sword, again, can be used as an arcane focus for a single use of the banishment spell. And I'm going to do one for Rodrigo. The gelatinous helm of alchemy. Oh, hell yes. So you have a wobbly helmet. We'll have a wobbly helmet that can cast a single 5-foot square within sight. So as long as you can see it, you can put this 5-foot square there, and it can only produce a 5-foot square of rum, grease, mayonnaise, or urine.
Okay, sure.
It generates it as a bonus action, if that helps.
Thanks.
Once it does so, your wibbly wobbly helmet disappears.
I'll copy paste that into our Discord chat for you.
Yes, if you can if you can do all the each of the lines, Felicia. That
yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's a hat of generate urine, amongst other things. But let's face it, you're going to use it for urine. I was ruining the day when Scorn would actually get his hands on that one. And Mike would prefer the urine to mayo because he hates mayo. Okay. You haven't got those items yet because you haven't hit the road yet. They will come at a certain point, but I thought I'd explain them now. And I will go in and edit each of the things that Felicia's put in, given in the explanations that I've said, so you don't have to worry about that. So, Cora, you wake up, and around your bed are 4 familiar figures. What have you been talking about, guys, in her absence?
I want to say that Aiden, as soon as... Because he got yeeted from the dream first.
Yeah, you turned up really cold, and then not cold at all.
I mean, Aiden's used to that by now. But yeah, I want to say he probably, while waiting for everyone else to wake up, if they were going to wake up, right? He probably made himself some coffee, and then probably, I want to say that I did bring back some of the books I got from the Witch Queen from the Duskhold.
Yes, right? You did say you brought back books from the Duskhold.
Okay, so Aiden would have been at whatever the equivalent we have of like where we sit down and eat, right?
Yeah, there's a little living room. Yeah, you've got a multiplanar caravan now, so yeah.
And just review information on both the Witch Queen herself and also on Greater Undead, while having a coffee, essentially, until everyone else wakes up.
Okay. So you're seeing a few disparities between the theories of the Witch Queen that you have in the book and what you've learned so far.
Yeah.
But you don't see them being deal breakers, that they can both be correct.
Yeah.
They believe, the writers of the book believe the Witch Queen is an animatus. Animatus is basically the highest form of zombie. It keeps all of the consciousness of the person before they died. Some people choose to become animatus, and they are kind of revenants that get a rougher deal. Revenants typically have a semblance of life to them.
Animatus, they also have a purpose.
Yeah, and they have a purpose as well. Animatus, they have a permanent ticket, but they become twisted and rotten. Their undead nature, their foulness.
Actually, here's a very interesting question. Can you said some people could choose to become animatus. Can you make an animatus?
Yes, you can. You can force someone to be an animatus. In fact, there's an anecdotal story of a dark wizard who did this to his servant because the servant kept failing him, and he believed with the extra power of not needing to sleep or breathe or can walk underwater and doesn't have to worry about bleeding or being killed, has no fear from death, able to use all the power in their frame without worrying about ripping muscles or anything like that because they can't feel a thing. They can feel, they have a form of sensation, but it's like a very cold echo. They don't feel things like the living do. And perform this kind of ritual. For the most part, those kind of rituals are force of will. But doing them to oneself, the mechanisms of it, is highly debated amongst the very venerable circles of arcanists worldwide. Looking into some of your other books with regard to Animatus and Greater Undead, the shredding of a soul comes up a lot. So that's why it's not a deal breaker. Is variation on Horcrux theory, other such things are abound, and your general consensus once you've finished reading these Bloodhunter tomes. For Mike's reference, Iden Knelm and the Knelm family are effectively the Van Helsings of this world.
Hello.
You come to the conclusion that there's more than one way of skinning a cat when it comes to this.
Right.
You think that an animatus is like a destination, but there are many roads there.
Yeah.
And this kind of self-flagellating emotional tantrum where cutting away a part of your soul so that you no longer have to feel anymore. Yeah, you can absolutely believe it's a way of becoming an animatus. And also you can tell that it's kind of a general term in the same way that, well, speaking as an epileptic, epilepsy is a very general term. Animatus is more of like a ring fence of conditions rather than a specific thing, which means that they will differ.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I'm not expecting to learn anything particularly new, right? That's kind of why we went to the dream, but I still wanted to review information of what we already know, and it
solidifies your assumptions. Animatus can be tethered to magic if they have the knowledge in life to wield the maelstrom. They, as long as they get access to it, they can wield it again.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't get the automatic access that some living beings do. For example, you can't have an animatus sorcerer.
Gotcha. So, all right, that explains a bit of the pack magic. But yeah, so Iden's just gonna be doing that while everyone else wakes up.
Sure. You do hear three of your friends wake up. In fact, two of them are asleep when you come in to start reading. And as you're reading at the table, you have Farewell, who's sat in front of his book, a second book that's got absolute gibberish in it. Actually, his book's got absolute gibberish in it because you know he's got a cipher pen. And all of his like accoutrement on the table in front of him. He's asleep in the kind of like you get in caravans, like the kind of U-shaped bench that's around the table. And with her head in his lap is Eclipse. And when they wake up, Eclipse hisses and her hair stands on end. And her head gets kneed into the table by Farewell, who convulses awake as well. You do hear Felicia will do it better than me, a what the fuck from Glory's bedroom.
I didn't, without batting an eye away from the books, right? I just say, welcome back.
Now, eventually you guys end up around Cora's Cora's bed, sorry. As per usual, Cora's body is not there because she completely transubstantiates to the Feywild when she sleeps.
I will never get used to that.
So you're kind of just milling about, waiting to find out whether or not your collective dream was true, because you were walkers, you were dreamers. It could have just been a really weird coincidence. So I'm sure you've got some questions for Cora when she reappears. What are you talking about when Cora reappears?
Oh, I've set up a hammock in her room and I've crawled into it.
Sure.
I've just gone, no, was up too late studying, now need sleep interrupted by stupid Fey dream, now want more sleep. So I've just hooked up in a room and like hooked up in a room. I've got my hammock and I've just literally crawled into it, and then like I have then gone pulled my book and I've ritually cast once again silence around me, and I'm just settled in because I figured that I'll at least like get an hour's power nap before she shows up.
I'd like to point out that Hermit, our most reliable viewer, has actually remembered that you said canon that Farewell has never seen Cora disappear or reappear when she sleeps, because normally you sleep before her. You said that. I think it was even last session that you said it.
Yeah.
You go into an empty bed. The others presumably tell you that she'll be back in a minute. And before you get a chance to fall asleep, Farewell, silently, because you've got silence around you.
Yeah, basically.
You watch as the sheets suddenly go, and where they were perfectly flat before, they now settle on this tiny little halfling form. And
I
Cora,
will deal with
your
that
eyes
in
wake
the
up.
morning.
Your eyes open, and you see everyone apart from Fair all around you. Apparently, who's across the room in a hammock that he's nailed into your wall.
Nah.
Well,
In his caravan, to be fair.
I mean, to
Well,
be fair,
Let's
plus
say,
I don't use the.
technically own the whole thing.
Yeah,
so
it's
you know
fine.
what I do with the inside is my own business.
I don't think she'd care. She'd be like, cool.
sleep over time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like, you were asking what the rest of us were talking about. Glory would probably bring with her things to start her morning beauty routine and in detail explain to Eclipse why you should use all these different products every single day in order to be beautiful.
Yeah,
Just always
like-
fur all over her
Eclipse
face.
is like, I don't have skin.
Yeah, Eclipse is
I
there.
have skin under that fur.
Which is
can't
not
see
ever
it.
going to be a problem because by the time it becomes one, she'll be dead.
Yeah, Eclipse, there's some weird shit that Glory's packing right now. One of them looks like an arcane welding torch, and you have no idea what that one's for.
I was like,
I mean, this goes deeper than the oyster fork,
I
really.
use a
so...
brush.
Yeah, she's just like, I have a brush. It's always
And
magic.
I have 12. They're for different purposes.
Different grades
I
of brush.
have one
yeah.
brush. All my hair is the same length, even on top of my head. I have no long
It
hair.
is a tragedy.
It's remarkably uniform. It's quite interesting.
God.
Eowyn, who has just gone into existence and is fluttering around, goes, do you use the same brush for your... Never mind. Because literally, Eclipse has one brush for her whole body. So...
I mean, she doesn't, because the hair is fairly short. She doesn't need to brush it that often. She'll like brush her head and her tail mostly. Like, she brushes her tail a bit after it like poofed up.
Yep.
Also, she comes from a place where I don't think they'll give a shit about. Like,
These are cats.
Exactly.
They are actual cats. So yeah, Cora, you wake up to a lesson in tiefling beauty regime a la Atazaran.
I'm
knows what
gonna lie
differs
there
to
with my
everywhere
eyes half shut, pretending I'm asleep.
But you do know that doesn't work because we know you're in existence now.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
exactly.
Well, yeah. No, but she's gonna totally pretend that she's asleep unless somebody. She's
I know,
not
Eclipse
gonna be
said
like,
that.
"Hi guys." She'd be like, "They're all
No, Eclipse said that to you. Like,
Well, Cora,
you
we
don't-
could at the very least do a face mask on you.
What? I'm good. No, I'm good.
Go on, seeing as we're
You
going.
say
here,
that,
Glory,
but if you don't do face mask, you will get wrinkles early.
Glory, give me a charisma check with proficiency, please. This is a cosmetics roll.
Yep. You didn't think you would have
Roll
to
for a
figure out
makeover.
those roles, did you?
Yeah. I think this is the first cosmetic role in D&D history.
Go on, Felicia. How much? We know that you're a charisma bunny. This is why I said it was something.
Yeah.
you could roll
I'm
for.
just trying to figure out okay, it's plus 10, so that's a 26.
26. Okay. Yeah, you suddenly notice as you're there considering a face mask that, wow, Cora's skin's got a lot better over the last year. When
We
you
haven't
first...
been know each other for a year yet. But...
No, but over the last few months.
Since you first met her.
Oh, no.
I mean,
her skin-
we've spent a fair amount of time on the road now, which has actually been like
Yeah.
quite a
Mm.
big chunk of time.
A few months at least, yeah.
Yeah, Cora had a couple of scars and things like that you were going to recommend some moisturizer and stuff for, and she had some calluses on her hands because hardworking girl. I mean, Cora grew up in the city and stuff. You've noticed that her skin's got a lot better recently, and she's been on the road a lot. It might be the diet because you're in the hawk and harness and stuff, but Yeah, she's kind of almost childlike perfection to her skin. Anyway, Cora, you're about to have a face mask put on you potentially.
It's easier than having conversations.
I will pretend to be asleep and let her splat whatever she wants on my face as long as I don't have to answer questions.
Yeah. So do you have anything for fur?
I have things for hair. Let me see if I have something. I have a few that are to make it silkier and softer.
I'm scared.
And basically, instead of a face mask, Glory will get one of her hair masks.
Point of order, butterflies and flower petals are cascading. Well, the butterflies are orbiting Cora, and from nowhere, petals are just cascading down on the bed like she's some sort of fucking Disney princess. This has not escaped your notice.
Yeah. You should do that more often.
I still go with the Shrek thing where the bird explodes.
I find that's fucking hilarious.
This is not usually a daily thing, nightly thing.
No, but you should make it one.
Okay, I'll try to remember how I did that.
As you roll around to actually talk to them, Cora, you do actually press one of the petals into the sheets, and you could feel like you've stained one of the sheets. It looks like it was like a bluebell petal or something like that, and you're like, oh shit, that dye is going to be terrible to get out. This is why you don't put dark red rose petals on your beds, kids. So yeah,
Is this from experience, Simon?
It sounds like it.
Point.
it may be.
It's nothing.
Perhaps.
It's nothing prestidigitation can't fix.
Yes, true. Yes,
Yeah.
One flick of Glory's fingers and the bed will be fine. Once again,
talking
from
about me,
experience.
I have prestidigitation now.
Oh yes, you have it as well now. Yeah. Oh god, here we go.
All right.
Fear me, saith the chronomancer. So.
Yeah.
Not that any of you fuckers know this,
No.
because that happened last night whilst you guys were all asleep, or otherwise
Which is the reason why
transubstantiated
Farewell's
into another
like
plane of existence.
in the hammock sleeping it off because he's exhausted.
Oh yeah, you're a wreck. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that you have done as much sleeping as you have, you're that much off rolling for exhaustion. So yeah, go ahead. You don't need me anymore. It's you guys in a fucking room. I don't need to describe it.
So the face. So this. I'm scared.
Oh, no. You leave it on for around 10 minutes before you wash it off, and it will make your fur a lot silkier and smoother.
Better than my own saliva?
Yes. Yes. Eclipse!
Simon, how much psychic damage does Glory take from that?
I don't know, but I just took 4. Okay, sure.
Eclipse! That.
I lick my paw. Yes.
Just because Eowyn is our Tinkerbell parallel and we love her to bits, you do watch her go and kind of just go like that on her hair absentmindedly. And then goes, and shakes her head as if to say, don't do it.
He keeps. But you do know, though, Glory, that you've never really seen Eclipse take a bath, but she's always.
Well, we
very
have
clean.
taken a bath together, excuse you, all of us.
It's with it, but you don't see her like
One.
go and take a bath regularly like Firewall does. But she's always very, very clean.
Yeah.
It's the hairballs. I don't want to get to the hairballs, but anyway, let's keep going.
I suddenly have a new insight in why you get so many hairballs. You should stop that.
No, that's what we do. That's how that's very common for tabaxi to keep clean that way. It's much better when you're living in very with a place where there's not a lot of water and you want to save it for drinking, water is not very good to actually use for bathing it.
What are you talking about? You just bring a jug of never-ending water when you go somewhere.
Yes, again, your experiences are not universal.
Experiences are not universal.
You never had
evergreen.
a self-filling tub that you just bring with you when you go on vacation or out to explore?
No, again, like you don't need to bring your entire house with you when you go out. You bring your backpack and that's it.
That hammock gently sways backwards and forwards.
You can't hear a thing.
Politely echoing in his void of complete and utter silence.
Oh,
It's just an
so
ocean
jealous.
of nothing. It's like sleeping on a bed of pure air.
You know, once he's decked properly, we could do Farewell's makeup.
Yes.
His makeup?
Mm-hmm. And Glor blinks out an entire palette of eyeshadow that is just different shades of blue.
Out of character, good luck trying to get past his passive perception.
You're speaking to the master.
Hold person.
Yes, but oh god, yeah, your stealth versus his. Oh god, it's Clash of the Titans, isn't it?
Unstoppable object, like unstoppable force versus the immovable object. Literally.
Yeah, I call montage. Keep going. Right.
I'm just pointing out that, you know, there is an awful lot of unpleasant things I can now do to you all.
None of us know that though.
Yeah.
One way to find out. Yeah.
Yet.
Farewell doing some time fuckery, like, out of spite.
Because that's why he endangered himself to blaspheme against all the Dawn War gods to be able to start messing with time, despite it being a direct command by all gods not to mess with time, on pain of never existing. That's why he did that, and that's why he took that step, was to just fuck with you in petty vengeance.
Spite,
Yes.
man.
Yes.
Yeah, I was serious.
You have no
That's
idea
why he
how
did
many
it.
things spite will fuel.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, I should really manage my spells.
I mean,
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah, Hermit, you can't use anything that's water based. It's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
luckily, most makeup nowadays
paints
is
on.
water resistant.
Paints on makeup onto him, and it just goes into his skin and just and
It becomes
disappears.
the
into-
blob test, the thin layer chromatography test, and it's just this. He looks like the Joker by the end of it. It's just all going down the various strata in his face. Okay. Is that
Yeah,
it?
we're just
Makeup and yeah, that's what you're talking about. Cool.
What time is it?
Glad I set up this fucking intrigue.
What
for
time?
You. That's
What time is it? How early is it? Like, is it in the middle of the night still, or is
it's
it?
fairly early. It's 8 a.m. I mean, you know.
So people have slept. Even
Glory's
if,
got a little bit of bags under the eyes. Farewell is
Nothing a
napping for
bit
a
of
reason.
Aiden looks
concealer
more
can't
haggard
hide.
than usual.
Yeah, I mean 8 a.m. It's yeah. And
Fuck,
you
man.
you guys didn't exactly go to bed early either.
No.
No.
I mean, you were up digging graves for most of it, so yeah, it's.
Yes.
you're kinda hanging
Even
around.
Glory, she dug like one half of a grave.
She
Yes?
dug like
Let's not
half
shame
a
her,
hole.
only because we've done that already, and I hate repetition. So.
But she's proud. She managed to. She did so much labor. Like
I
She
like
even
to-
got a
prize
blister.
for this.
I like to imagine that it will be one of the things she will lever against excellence, like in their competition. Is like, I managed to dig a grave, you didn't.
I mean, fuck no. Can't have him though. She did manual labor, but she will lord it over Eclipse that she actually did it.
Reasonable.
So, I think Cora will get, like, if Cora doesn't feel like tired, which I'm assuming she doesn't. maybe.
No,
maybe
you are perfectly well rested for all the events. That was the other Cora. That was yes, you transubstantiated, but your body, as it comes back to the prime material plane, is well rested. You went to bed pretty much the same time as everybody else. Yes, it's slightly early, but you've had about 8 hours sleep.
Yeah.
For an adventurer, that's not much for a regular, person. But for an adventurer, you burn yourself out at the end of each day. But you're all right. Yeah, you're all right.
I'll get up and I'll start like pottering around to make breakfast and various things and and to be honest, I might because I know the questions are going to come, but we might as well wait for Farewell to sleep. Plus, I mean, she now knows where she needs to head, which is to this temple thing, this dungeon thing.
Where I can be Tomb Raider.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like gonna check out the maps and try and
there is a sound like a drain emptying from the hammock.
No one drools like a water genasi.
True.
And it even comes with that like glugging bit, where it reaches right at the end and it's sort of like,
Well, I look at Farewell like wondering what the fuck is going on.
Yeah. Cora, you're suddenly really glad that you have a shape-shifting piece of clothing, which, of course, the general knew nothing about. That even though it did formerly belong to her, if you remember, a long, long time ago, that she had to give you that because she broke the music box.
Yeah.
But she seemed to have forgotten about that because, time's different in the Feywild. But they're kind of like, everybody's in my fucking room, my God. And you're just suddenly very grateful as your pajamas, in what is considered a full body hiccup, just goes and turns into the clothing of your choice.
Yep. So I'll wander into the main area and I'll start digging through the maps and trying to get a handle on everything that sort of happened leading up to, like, the path that she remembers, and to a certain degree start plotting it out, either on a map or a piece of paper, showing it, so she won't necessarily mark up a map. I don't know how they do these things, but so I'll do all of that, and I'll make some breakfast, and I'll basically just be ready for when people stumble
breakfast.
out.
Yep.
First breakfast, of course, yeah.
Sure. So who normally cooks, by the way?
Probably Farewell.
It's Farewell. Yeah. Party dad. Yep. Okay.
Gloria doesn't know how to cook. She knows how to buy breakfast.
Eclipse's cooks with here, everybody have like a
fish.
A fish.
But it's raw.
It's just a fish. Just a fish. Head on fish. Yeah.
It's just like,
good night, Sid.
What? I'm a carnivore, man.
It's delicious.
I just need
he
to
has
eat
the most nutrition this way. Where are you gonna get your taurine if you cook it?
Oh my God.
This is taurine.
It's just that there. And it's like,
Good
knowing Farewell, like, this is probably the most meticulously organised kitchen. Like, everything's got its place.
Yeah.
All the labels are like one direction, it's that
Not after Cora's finished with this.
Yeah, I know.
I should imagine that this is, because, let's face it, Cora and Farewell are the consummate odd couple. When Farewell has got the upbringing of living in a caravan where everything needs to have its place, otherwise it doesn't fit, and any amount of mess ends up just encroaching on your space and driving you nuts. And then Cora comes in like a miniature whirlwind, just making something, putting things back wherever the closest to reach is.
You don't need 5 balls to make one thing.
Yep.
But eventually, once Farewell wakes back up, corrects every breakfast mistake, and reorders the kitchen once again, you guys are ready to go. The horses are fed. You've got several carts, of which a few of you now have to take a cart each, because you said you were going to take a small convoy to the next village.
Yeah, we're taking food.
Yes.
Okay.
If we had 3.
So the next village is Ashdown. It's only a couple of days' ride away. Even with the carts and things, the road is good. It's an imperial road. So those of you who are from Vardencore know that Empress Celine actually has a commission to make sure that the roads work so that she can mobilize her forces throughout her kingdom, throughout her empire, to be able to defend things. Now, for the most part, it's defended by the individual dukes and lords and things like that. And remember, you are in the district and the lands of Duke Romanicus. Now, you're not actually in Ostermark territories anymore. And you pass down the road. And as you do so, little gnome comes along. And he's got a little tinker's cart that's got tons of bric-a-brac over it.
Bless you.
And he turns around and says, would you like to, try your hand at something? The product chooses you for a copper apiece. That's all it requires. No tricks. Well, actually, lots of tricks. Everything in there is a trick. He suddenly goes, "Oh, I'm not wearing it." Rummages around inside the cart and pulls out a tabard, puts it over his head, and it's a little tabard of Sahani, the goddess of night, the moon, lovers, and mischief. Brighten up your day. Go on, a copper apiece. I'm going to tell you, you each give a copper apiece just on a lark, and you get the items that we had in the loot.
Yes.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, some interesting ones there. The helmet suits you, sir." And I should imagine Aiden glares daggers at him.
You're a pisshead. This will suit you.
Pea hat.
Oh yeah, you guys don't know what each other's items do, so you can't ask
We
for
know
them to do it.
Mine stinks though. And
Oh
so
yeah, the adjective word
they all
you get.
stink. Yeah.
So crackling, gelatinous, those are visible and undeniable, but you don't know the last part.
I wanted to do pea. I wanted to do tease.
You know what your own item does, because the second you hold it, the item tells you what it can do.
I got shiny boots. You're right, Aiden.
No, let's move on.
The gnome goes, "The world and the work of the gods, full of wonders, full of colour, if you let it into your life. See you later." He picks up the little cart, which, because it's been pulled by a gnome, there's no steed or anything like that. He's a little hand cart, and he totters off down the road, carrying on with his vigil to make people's lives a little weird and wonderful.
I assume we give him a tiny bit of food because we have so much.
we can
he'll
give
accept
him
a
a
little
whole
bit of
load.
food. Yeah, and he takes some bread and some root vegetables, and he's munching on a bit of bread as he walks off.
I will take the stinking sword and hide it as far away from myself as possible.
You can put it in your
Bag of holding.
bag of holding.
I think she's terrified that she does that. Everything will stink when it comes out.
You know what? That's a reasonable assumption.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Let's take a sword that generates stench and put it into a finite space. That's not going to go badly at all.
Stink bomb.
she's going to attach it probably to the outside of the caravan at the back.
Oh God! like a stench comet trail behind you.
Yeah. Yeah, and she's very tempted just to use it straight away, hoping that the stench might disappear with the spell.
Mike wants to buy a bulk order.
Yeah, he would put 5 silver.
Take my money.
God, 50 scorn fuse items.
Fuck.
No. There was a reason that was limited to once per session.
Yeah.
That and the wild magic.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah, that was probably one
I'll
of
bet.
Simon's finest bits of
I love
genius.
that. Yeah. Nightbot is your friend on this, Mike. I'll type it in again, but there is a function that we put in just for one of our viewer/players.
I'm very impressed with
for the
all
pirate
functions.
game, and it's a random generator. So there we go.
Good. Then.
Crackling ring of disgust, lovely. So yes, you go down the road holding these items. That this little gnome forcibly jumping like Yoda onto the caravan and thrusting it into your hands. You now have these weird items: glowing boots, gelatinous helm, crackling sword, illusionary cup, and foul-smelling sword. Along the rest of your way, lucky people. You can see that the village of Ashford is a little further away, where the previous village was secreted away for reasons why we know. This one is in a natural hollow, and you can see as your carts crest over into the hollow that the whole village spreads out in front of you. It's the place to go. The reason why the other village is largely ignored is that Ashford is a small market village. The market square in the middle is the largest part. And you can see that there are a number of traders. Their carts have kind of caravan elements to them, so they're probably traveling merchants that have stopped here in Ashford to be able to sell their wares. And the village looks well-to-do by the look of the buildings. It's quite busy. It's got a perimeter wall. Not a huge kind of battlements or anything like that, just a small kind of defense wall around it. It seems to be very well to do. There are no guards to be seen at the entrance, but you do see that once your carts come into the village some ways, that there are a few people who seem to have swords, shields, deputation badges, that they kind of size you up as you're coming in. But when they see that you're the people who have wealth, as opposed to the people who might want to steal wealth, they don't give you a second look. You have noticed that the deputation are in Ostergald, which is in Ostermark lands. They are here as well. And the deputation are basically the mercenary police force that is worldwide. They are a guild. And they enforce the local laws regardless of what they are.
Okay.
There are certain countries where they refuse because of the laws. You won't be surprised to find out there are no deputation in Atolzaran.
I wonder why.
It's something
guy.
Okay, so immediately right off the bat, there are no warning signs, unlike what we got in the last village we visited.
No. In fact, the juxtaposition and how painfully normal this village is relaxing to you. You're getting the usual judgmental looks of strangers. And
yeah, but I'd rather take that over the tummy tentacle.
Yep. Yeah, the chances of tentacles in this village are down to a nice even 10%. So, yeah.
That's a lot more than I expected.
So there is one thing that happens as you come into the village, and a guy in not the brocade that you saw of the border guards between Ostermark lands and Romanicus lands, but proper imperial brocade. He is talking to a bunch of soldiers, kind of knights, guardsmen, you're not quite sure, but they're all in plate with full face masks. Kind of like it's not really gold, it's like iridium. For any of you who knows any of the metalwork, it looks like gold, but it's actually very strong. And it's probably a coating as well. And he's talking to one that seems to have insignia on his pauldron that maybe denotes him as a captain. None of you have got a military background. The closest person who would probably recognize him is Aiden, because he will have been, as part of his training for the commander of the Silver Hunt, is that you know how to talk to these guys. You have got some authority, but only if you're hunting undead. Otherwise, they're just kind of like, you're a traveler now. That's it.
Yeah.
The guy in the brocade, the one that isn't in full plate, sees you in the corner of his eye, snaps around and goes, hold that thought, Captain. Walks up and says, I greet you, fair citizens, for that I take on trust. May I ask your business here in Ashton? Ashford, sorry.
Really
in Ashford.
formal around here.
Oh, no, the formalities purely sat with me. I am an Imperial Herald. On my way in, well, down the road that you have just happened across, may I ask, is the road in good condition? Would we be waylaid at all? Did you come across any form of banditry or lawlessness?
There's a gnome selling things.
You see this kind of smirk cross his face and his eyes dart into the corner where a child with a gelatinous sword is running around slapping his friend's legs with it.
Oh, you've seen him. It's fine. Carry on.
Okay, question, Simon. Is it like a sword-sized version of like those like rubber hands that you stretch and then you just throw it?
He's actually got a hand at the tip of the blade, and like the kid's just going like he's using like a whip sword. And so they can't quite get out of distance because he's just like.
Oh god,
I think it's like episode 11 of the Pirate Adventure. Scorpius actually got a gelatinous sword. And yes, it's VLOOKUP roll tables, Mike. He says yes. We happened upon the quite colourful pasta that was coming through here. No, I simply ask about the road ahead, and if I may be so bold, your business here, just out of interest, you understand.
We all just stare at him. I imagine that we've gotten to the point now where we're just like, oh, for the love of God, more people just trying to interfere because we're like armed to the fucking teeth. We've got all of these we've got very well made like Farrell's got master crafted armor on.
Oh yeah,
everybody's got like proper really, and we all just look at this like one Imperial soldier like. Bro,
Aiden is looking more tired. Aiden is looking more tired than usual, considering he barely got any fucking sleep.
Well, he's a state-sponsored bard. He's a negotiator, a businessman on behalf of the Empire. So when he sees this look of absolute, oh, for fuck's sake, from your faces, he goes, I can see you're weary from your travels. I do apologize. I have no reason to press my authority upon you, so I'll leave you upon your way.
Let's keep this quick.
Tempted not to write "fuck the police" on the back of his armor.
Yeah. Let's keep this quick. I'm commander of the Silver Hunt. Not that matters right now, but you
present your token, and immediately he says,
I have some authority. Might as well fucking use it for something."
Yeah. When you pull out your Silver Hunt token, which is the commander token. Immediately he says, do you need our help, sir?
You're fine. There's no undead in this area.
You can see a lot of very calm, very relieved villagers around you because they've heard of the Silver Hunter. They're like, oh shit.
They don't have to anything to worry about. There's nothing here, as far as I know.
Very well. We are on a diplomatic mission from the Empress herself. Going the way you are into Ostermark lands, so
we're mostly passing through. However, we are bringing two things of note. One, and I do point at the caravan, at the convoy we have behind us, right? We are bringing quite a bit of surplus food that will otherwise go to waste. And two,
the villagers get closer.
And two, speaking of, the nearby village of, what's the name again? I forgot. The village which we just came from.
Oh, the village of the Tommy Tacticals.
Not that. I'm not gonna call it that.
Actually, I can't find my note for that. Actually, but
the village of
I think it was Hallfield or something like that. But yes. You say the name.
Yeah. The one that's a few days of travel. It's been recently abandoned, and there's a lot of empty, unused livestock, food, other general supplies, plus general buildings that are currently sitting unused. And we thought it would be a good idea to spread the word that, to not let those things go to waste.
I shall make sure that our veterans are made aware of that. They do have a land grant each for service to our august empress. As such, yes, I think that would be perfect. Thank you very much, Commander. Thank you. And may I say, it's wonderful to see that you're this far abroad, away from your usual hunting ground. I trust that the silver hunt is still active in the Stadt.
Sure.
Same as always.
Glad to hear it. We heard that there was a huge attack upon your compound, but the fact that you've bounced back is good news. What should we expect from Clan Canal?
I sort of like lean down from like my position, so like my head's near his, and go, and just whisper very gently, "This is not a very nice topic of subject. He's very tired. It's been very stressful."
But of course, Commander. Come, fellows, march on. And he picks up what seems to be a majorette's baton. And holds it up in the air. It's got a gold knob on the end because, of course, and the little knob has a little crown on it. And he holds up in the air and goes, "Forward, soldiers!" and starts marching perfectly down the road in the stiffest marching style possible. You know that this is
literal knob end.
Yeah, he's not going to get a half mile down the road before this is going to hurt. And off he marches, and like freaking robots behind him, the Imperial Guard, you can see that there's 11 of them, captain and a brace of 10, marching along behind him. You have a feeling they're all paladins.
Oh, you want farewell?
It's all right. They're a pain no matter when you run into those.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
Just fucking every village. If one of those have got in, just like your work has gone from being this much to like here. They are the worst people to deal with. Oh, everything's got to be done right and proper. Fuck off. Just let me get it done.
Farewell. It's okay.
I mean, they're dead. You know what I mean? You just let me deal with them. I know what I'm doing. I don't need Johnny and his righteous band of merry dickheads telling me what to do. It's
I love this.
Honestly frustrating. You stood there and you're just like, bro, we are like knee deep in like fetid, rotted zombies, and you're spouting off scripture. It's like there is a time and a place.
Cora stands up on the caravan and looks around at the crowd of people who started to flock towards us as he's ranting away at this, and it's just like, I'm sorry, he didn't get much sleep last night. We're all very tired. It's fine. Go back to your business. Help yourself to the carts.
I didn't want to interrupt Nick mid-flow, but Nick, give me give me either a performance or persuasion. Your choice.
Can I assist
with advantage?
Can I please assist in some way?
You kind of already had this. Roll wouldn't exist if you guys hadn't had this conversation.
It's an 11 because I have a -2 in both performance and persuasion. His charisma is not farewell strong point.
This is Charm Villager. It wasn't a high DC. Yeah, you can see that there's a number of people trying not to laugh at Farewell's rant. Cora's being apologetic, but there's a few of them who are kind of suddenly getting out their handkerchiefs and pretending to have a cough because they're trying not to piss themselves laughing in front of the incredibly rich people who have just turned up in a magical caravan.
And have you ever seen these people? These little. The fucking assholes when they're done and they set up their own fucking tents and no one's allowed near it because it might cause a danger. You're right next to the only fresh supply of water, you fucking ass. And then like Farrell looks around and there's just like all these people and he's like,
Aiden doesn't even bat a fucking eye, and she just says, speaking from personal experience, I suppose.
oh yeah.
I can relate.
Yeah. Apparently, there are certain places that we're not allowed as a family because you can do that. You're allowed to ban people from certain places. I don't follow.
I'm sure you're banned from like certain several constituencies, aren't you, Glory? With your
I think we should probably drop these off and probably find a. Actually, what time of day is it? Just out of curiosity.
It's only. I said it was probably only. Actually, you've been traveling for 2 days. I'm going to say it is.
No.
11 a.m. So yeah, it's 11 a.m. But you can see this crowd that's just they've kind of came for the food, but they stopped for the show.
Right. I say we drop these off and either set off as soon as we can or find a place to stay.
I think we just leave it all here and let nature take its course and we carry on as we are. I mean, we've done what we
Sounds
need.
good.
We'll just dump all the food here.
So
no, I honestly believe that like this will find its way into the right hand as it needs.
Reasonable.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah.
it would be really
I don't know how
unwise
you
to
poor people
hoard.
do things.
It's like it'd be really unwise to like hoard and keep for yourself food that has been so freely given, wouldn't it?
Guy who came closest
cleric
to you
who's
is this giant carpenter. You can see with the stuff that he's got hanging from his belt. This guy's a carpenter. He's been there and unabashedly grinning at your rant, and he turns around and goes, don't you worry, it's going to go to the needy. We're going to make sure of that.
Good.
Thank you very much.
I thought you were talking to Glory.
To be fair, like she wouldn't eat any of that. It's not rich enough. It's all
good
staples.
produce. We'll make good use of it. Don't worry about that. And
Good to know.
You just go into the tavern there and rest up a while. We'll get somebody to clean your horse's hooves and all that. And do you need the carts that it came in, or did that come from the village as well?
You can keep that. And the horses.
Okay. In that case, those will be put to good use as well. I'm sure that a couple of our more needy members of the village will start a bit of a business with that. I mean, you could take produce from one village to the other. I mean, as you say, there's a village just up the road, 2 days drive from here, that they might be able to find a few things as well. Maybe a few tools as well, and start plying their trade. We do need another Wainwright after all. Now,
Sure.
You head into the tavern there, and my brother is the proprietor there, and he's going to make sure that you have a good meal. Let's say a good meal, and also a good amber ale. It's one of our local specialities before you head on. Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. And welcome to Ashford. He starts coordinating. You see, this is the man about town. You can see that he starts coordinating the various people who've kind of crowded around to go for the food, and you can see that he's calling people by name, where he goes, no, not you, Jimmy Rake, not you. You've got plenty of food. That's just greed, that is. No, you give it over to Lucille over there. And, you know, this guy seems to be salt of the earth kind of guy, just sorting out everything as he goes along. And he did come out of his shop. He kind of was curious as to this quite lavish caravan, since Glory's got a pause on it. Coming in. By the way, you have noticed, Farewell, that the wheels have not had mud on them since you started. Something about her enchantment constantly prestidigitizes the wheels. And you carry on. Is there anything in particular that you'd be looking out for on your journey? I will say that you do get attacked several times by bandits. It's incredibly funny.
Like, sometimes they run away, sometimes they are melted.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to admit where when they appear, none of us, all we do is we hold up several cards that just read this is and then like you like 1 crossed out, 2 crossed out, 3, you know, and so on and so forth.
I think I think every time we take get a
No, continue, Nick. What are you saying?
And then like once we get whatever the current number is, it then says none have won, all have died. I'm tired of digging grave. Please go away. And then there's Glory just has a very like she's designed, and it just says, makes him dig the graves. And then we just sort of, and it's just like, there's like, oh God, you're illiterate. Hold on, Cora. Explain. And then there's just like Cora's minor illusion that comes up, and then like you see this like cartoon cart coming along.
Are you given the IKEA instructions as to you're going to die by acid ball?
Yeah. And then like you see the bandits come up, and the bandits are all like they've got like pointy like teeth. And am I muted?
No,
Kate.
And like all the bandits have got like pointy teeth, and we're all like heroic, and we're all happy and bouncy, and there's like, you know, like chibi little like like eclipses and stuff like that, and then they show up and they're all like and then just then this
chibi clips that like she runs through and all their heads are decapitated.
Yeah, this tiny little demon appears out of the back of it wearing like Glory's dress that goes and then this giant like sun-sized acid ball just appears, and like as they run forward, the acid ball just rolls over the top of them, and then it's just skeletons. And then there's a very sad little water genasi carrying a spade over his shoulder and just digs all the graves, throws the bodies in, pats it all down, carries back on, and then there's like, then you see like the eclipse going like to Glory for like overkill, and then
seems like the most fucked up Hello Kitty ever. It's just
I think the whole thing's done as a very beautiful like shadow puppet type display. It's like they're so intrigued, and then they realize what it's actually saying.
This is less Hello Kitty.
Go on.
Yeah.
This is less Hello Kitty and more Happy Tree Friends.
I was gonna say it's Happy Tree.
Oh God! Now I've got the music in my head.
And no, I was going to say, all of us just go, why doesn't the warning signs and the show not work? What is it about that is not working?
By this point, Aiden has a thing where, like, at some part of the caravan, there is a small chalkboard that says "Days Without Incident," right? And as soon as this happened, Aiden always goes, erases it, and then just makes it a 0.
And on that point, we have hit 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we have hit 11 o'clock. Unless there's anything particularly
bandit raid.
Yeah.
We're all just sat on top of it going.
Well, they obviously made bad life choices.
Yeah, this is what happens when you're level 14 now?
13.
You haven't given me my wings yet, Simon.
That's right. You're not flying yet. So, yes, this is what happens when you're level 13 and you end up deciding to travel by road rather than the flight abilities that you have, like your carpet and that. Yes, you meet bandits who really think it's their lucky day until they get the infomercial.
No, it's quite the opposite.
Could you imagine how much more weird that would be? Like you're some peasant working in a field, and then there is the multi-ethnic and multi-racial A Brave New World just flying above your head. It's just going to be the most surrealist thing.
If you tell anyone about it, they won't believe a word.
Exactly.
But I can imagine
there, you're farming turnips covered in shit, and then there's like 5 dickheads on a flying carpet going over the top of you. You'd just be like, what the fuck?
I like to imagine they just look, and then they just go back to pulling turnips out of the ground, like without saying.
It goes, I've got a complaint to the Lord.
That's what they would do. They'd be kind of like,
what
the fuck am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to react or whatever? Well, I've still got to pull this fucking turnip out of the ground, so they just do it anyway. Right. So unless there's something specific that you want to do, because you go through a few towns and things on the way in the next 2 weeks, unless there's something specific you want to look for, at the beginning of next session, you're going to turn up to the physical temple that you've already visited. Okay. And we will start there. So unless there's something specific you want to do, that's where we're going to start next session. However, it is 11 o'clock, and a big thank you to everybody who's turned up today. It's been great to have so many viewers and for people to be hanging around with us. Big thank you to Hermit for the Wild Magic, or have I got this backwards? Jordan for the Loot Bomb. No, I haven't got it backwards. Darosh for the gifted sub. Thank you very much for that.
Tom.
It's always
Thank
great
you,
to
Tom.
see Tom. Thank you for the support. Always happy to have the support, and it's great that it was given to Wing as well. Haven't watched Wing in a while, but if Wing's on, we'll raid them.
No, she was streaming earlier. I don't think she's on now.
I have a suggestion for a raid.
Oh, great. Okay, we'll do that in just a sec. And finally, thank you to also secretly a communist for following us. Welcome to all. Please, stream watches you now. We are going to raid, so please stick around for that. Other than that, we are going to be starting next week with more stuff. For anybody who's either watching this on VOD, because I know Rattles and Shrine, you do that. We are going to be testing the NPC game tomorrow. That's going to be off stream. So this is a few of us from the Discord playing, where they're all going to play NPCs, the people who didn't go adventuring, and we're going to see how that works. It's basically Stardew Valley meets D&D. We'll see if it pans
meets Letterkenny.
Other than that, thank you very much, everybody. Take care, and we will see you later. Stick around for the raid. Good night.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.